It's hard growing up with dyslexia.
Our daughter used to get notes left in her locker that said, "You're stupid."
What's wrong with your daughter? She's 8 years old and she can't read.
I was convinced I was dumb.
I knew the pain they were going through and the struggles, but didn't have the tools to help them.
Well, I couldn't read.
We homeschool, we have 5 kids. Most of them were fairly easy to teach reading to, and then we had Lydia. I would work with her, and at first I would think she's just goofing off.
Our middle son, he could hear the ABCs, he could sing them, but if you would ask him to say them, he couldn't get past C.
Well, we've been able to teach 4 kids how to read. What is wrong with how we're doing it?
I didn't understand she wasn't seeing things the way I see them.
Dyslexia is where your brain's wired differently than others.
It's like someone has taken a file cabinet and dumped it out, and so every day they're searching. It doesn't just make reading harder, it makes everything harder.
So dyslexia is not seeing your letters backwards. It's more a problem with getting the sounds to stick to the letters, and that's a phonological processing problem. It affects reading and it affects spelling.
As a father who has dyslexia, I had developed my own coping mechanisms to learn and to get through school, but I had no idea how to teach those coping mechanisms to my children.
We've had our kids in public school, we've had our kids in private school, we had our kids in specialized schools for kids who have dyslexia, and so we've spent a lot of money to try to find the right program for our kids.
But then I came here, and now I'm able to read.
The Scottish Rite Learning Center of West Texas opened in 1975. Dr. Lena Waters was the first director. She taught students one-on-one for many years. In 1984, the Masons saw a need for dyslexia therapists throughout West Texas and eastern New Mexico. So they opened the Scottish Rite Learning Center of West Texas Lena W. Waters Dyslexia Therapist Training Program. In 2016, the Masons saw another need to open a learning center in Amarillo. Throughout the years, the Masons have remained steadfast in their commitment to the center.
We have 2 missions. We train our students to read and spell and become confident learners, but we also train teachers to become dyslexia therapists. We've trained over 600 teachers, and these dyslexia therapists go on to impact over thousands of children.
The Scottish Rite really started with me from the ground up, really teaching me as a high school English teacher, like the basics of language and stripping it down to the bare minimum so that you can be a better educator. So I would know none of this without the Scottish Rite.
My daughter was diagnosed with dyslexia, and so when a job opportunity came up where I could be a dyslexia therapist, I jumped on it so I can learn more about how her brain works and how to help her.
To know that I've been equipped and trained with the best, and to be able to have those tools as a professional, I'm filled with extreme gratitude.
The tools that they teach us will help them forever.
We use the Take Flight curriculum. It's a scientifically based program. It's systematic, and it teaches children to read in a way that they can learn using the multisensory techniques that we teach.
The Take Flight program, sponsored by the Masons, really has a special place in our heart.
From the get-go, she's there. She would look forward to it. She's like, when do I get to go next? When do I get to go next?
Yeah, I like doing the same thing every time. It helps me remember the things.
It's a comfort to know what's coming next. We always build upon what we have taught.
It's very hands-on, it's very interactive, and it's very one-on-one.
I want to thank the Masons because without them, we wouldn't be here.
They pay for the materials, they pay for the teachers. They come down and they talk to the kids.
Thank you for your commitment to help the kids of our community.
It was miraculous.
They get this amazing gift of empathy and learning what it's like to not just struggle but to succeed, and seeing other kids and being able to recognize the struggle in them and being able to help them through that.
When I started teaching, I had students that were so very bright but couldn't read. They were so intelligent and so creative and could solve problems orally, But when it came to reading, it was really hard. And so that was one reason that I became a dyslexia therapist, in the fact that I wanted to help those children that were so very bright. I wanted to help all children, but those, I know how they could struggle.
I wouldn't want to have another teacher except for Miss Hester. She's taught me a lot of stuff that I don't think I'd ever learn without her. She's amazing.
When I think of influence, I think of Miss Parrish. She changed my life. I thought I was going to go down a path of disappointment, and she showed me that I can do anything. I became an honors student. I became top 3% of my class. I was involved in student council, public speaking. I was a national winner for East Cyber Mission. That all stemmed from the confidence I gained at Scottish Rite.
Dyslexia is not a curse. It's a gift.
You were designed this way.
You're going to be the guy one day that someone says, I was that guy's roommate, and look how famous he is.
But they've given my daughter the world. They've opened up life to her. And that quote from Mother Teresa keeps coming to mind. We cannot all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And I feel like that embodies what happens here at the Scottish Rite Learning Center. Any child that comes here, they're going to succeed because the teachers care and they help the kids to care.